is Lieutenant David Cruz, who is the medical team officer in charge of the U.S. Navy. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning.
How are you all this morning?
Doing well.
Excellent.
Very well.
So I want to start off by asking, what is the SME all about?
A SME, a subject matter expert exchange, is an exchange between two organizations, two countries, in this case, our partner nation, the United States of America, and the United States Navy, where we exchange our expertise and learn new things from each other.
And in this case, we are looking at diving as one of them.
Yes, both diving and medical. And it's a 2-week program in this instance, approximately 2 weeks, starting on the 9th and ending around the 22nd of August.
So what does diving entail?
So for our diving mission, we're conducting scuba and surf supply dive operations. And we're also doing we're exchanging techniques for dive medicine, dive injury, and area search procedures, underwater search procedures.
And it started on the 9th?
That is correct.
And how has it been going so far?
It's been going extremely well. We were in the classroom on Saturday, learning some medicine, exchanging how we actually diagnose dive injuries.
So it's not just a practical thing where you go out?
It is. We do also do practical. Actually, on Friday, we dove off the pier about 60 feet in our scuba with full face mask.
And what is that like?
It's great. It's great. So the full face mask is pretty unique. We're able to actually get in the water and communicate with the Trinidad diver or the Coast Guard divers.
And so it involves you going into the water, but what exactly happens there?
So that's just a method of getting to whatever sort of job we have. If in the event we need to actually do like a vessel search, looking for contraband, if there's any sort of items that we need to recover, contraband.
And I want to get into the health aspect of it. What does that entail?
Are you speaking about the diving health engagements? I think Lieutenant Salazar is the expert on that matter.
So can you give us a little idea on the health aspect of the diving?
Yes, so sometimes we are tasked to dive in contaminated water. In the event we have to do that, there are certain procedures we have to wear, certain we call PPE, personal protective equipment, to ensure that we don't get any sort of infections or burns or chemical injuries.
Right. And I understand there is also an 11-person fleet health engagement team.
Oh, very well. So the fleet health engagement team is here to collaborate with the medical units here in Trinidad and Tobago. Here we are conducting subject matter experts exchanges in order to collaborate during a humanitarian assistance and a disaster relief event. In case that we are called upon to sustain and support each other, that's what we're here for, to share those lessons learned that we have, to share those activities that can support a humanitarian disaster activity event, sir.
And how important is that for us to know, though?
Extremely important. The Coast Guard and the other armed forces are extremely capable of supporting these activities. As we know here in this region, we are exposed to many different elements. For example, we have hurricanes in here. This is a hurricane season. And we are here to collaborate and to continue the long-term exchanges that we have and the relationships that we have with Trinidad and Tobago. So that's the intent of the medical team as well as the diving team in the region.
And it's not just Trinidad and Tobago. I know that, is this program for other countries as well?
Yes, this program has been going on with other countries. This time it's with Trinidad and Tobago and really the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. And we look forward to these sort of assistance programs that helps us become better so that we can provide support to our country and our citizens as a defense force.
So how many sailors are taking part in this?
Actually, there are over 50 sailors taking part in the entire subject matter expert exchange, whereas in the entire defense force is over 200. And therefore, it spreads even wider to the entire force.
And when they learn, they can transfer the knowledge on somebody else.
And that is exactly what a subject matter expert exchange is. So the experts transfer that information, and then our local experts now then pass to the rest of the force.
So I want to talk about the equipment. You mentioned scuba as one. What else is used?
Yeah, so the scuba, that's primary, one of our dive rigs. We do have surface-supplied equipment, so actually like tanks on the surface that uses high-pressure hoses to feed air to the diver. And additionally for this mission, we brought my recompression chamber. That is used in the event there's a dive injury. You can actually pressurize the chamber, it sits on the surface, and treat that injury.
And for the health fleet engagement team, you know, what does that entail? What exactly is done? You talked about the humanitarian exercises and that kind of thing, but what else? And how far is this training going in terms of being able to transfer the knowledge to other people?
Very well, great question, thank you. So what I understand is you're asking what is the fleet health engagement team concept, right?
Yeah.
So this is a long-term planning process that came along with Commander Dowlett, the force surgeon, in collaborations with the other armed forces. And when we came here to evaluate what we can do, we quickly identified some areas that we could collaborate together. One of the areas is the exchange of how to maintain somebody alive, right? So we call that combat tactical care, right? Or tactical combat casualty care, as we know it as TCCC. So we have a team dedicated of doctors and medics that are in the ground doing didactics, and they're also doing performance-based executions. That's going to happen on the Coast Guard base. That's also going to happen on the ground. So they're going to be working together side to side to make sure that that individual that suffers an injury during an event is able to maintain that life. We have learned this in the Navy through our long-term experiences, either in combat or either in a humanitarian assistance program. The other portion to that, which you asked me for, is a public health team. That team is working together with your personnel to develop a preventive medicine capacity, right, to work hand in hand to mitigate risk that our personnel will be exposed to. That ranges for basic safety issues, like falling from a ladder, all the way to mitigating a basic diarrhea, right? How to prevent that. So we're talking about all of those ranges of preventions in an effort to support the commanders to maintain the force healthy. That's the intent of our engagement.
So we talk about doing all of these things, but in the long run, how is it going to benefit Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, certainly it's going to benefit Trinidad and Tobago with a more robust, trained force so that we can effectively and efficiently action any event that we are called on to do. And we've had to do that recently in our with the hurricane issues in our various Caribbean countries. So I think a subject matter expert exchange has been an ongoing event, and it will keep us at the cutting edge of assistance.
And this is an ongoing program. Would it happen again anytime soon?
This program was in the development for a few months and is now taking place over these 2 weeks. And yes, this is going to be ongoing, and not only in diving or medical, but in various other parts of the defense force to make us a stronger force for our citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
So what has the experience been like for you, Lieutenant Salazar?
It's been great. This country is beautiful. The diving's great. We're looking to actually dive in Tobago later this week, which it's going to be extremely exciting. We've had great time working with the Coast Guard divers, and looking forward to the rest of the time here.
Lieutenant, how was your experience?
The experience has been amazing, and I can speak on behalf of our team, but the team has been interacting from the moment that we started this long-term planning to establish our long-term relationship and partnership. But so far, from the moment that we arrived here on the 8th of August till today, the experience has been amazing. We were looking forward for a long-term exchange for the next 2 weeks, and looking forward for a productive exchange of lessons and practices where we can grow as a team and collaborate in this region.
Certainly, the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard and, in fact, the Defense Force in this larger arrangement will enjoy exchanges with the United States government and the United States Navy and the U.S. Embassy in this context. I want to assure Trinidad and Tobago that personnel from Tobago have been brought down to Trinidad to ensure that all the training is presented to all our personnel who need it so that we can expand our expertise.
Final comments?
Thanks very much to the U.S. Navy, Southern Command, and the U.S. Embassy for bringing your teams to Trinidad and Tobago and to the Defense Force, and specifically to the divers of the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. We are, under my command, trying to become the greatest and the best in the Caribbean. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
I would like to say thank you, gentlemen, for coming on and chatting with us about the SME. I think it's a great initiative, as you said, for Trinidad and Tobago, and it would help us in the future. Captain Douglas Archer, Commanding Officer of the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard.
Thank you.
Lieutenant David Cruz, Medical Team Officer in Charge, U.S. Navy, and Lieutenant Larry Salazar, Dive Team Officer in Charge. Gentlemen, again, thank you very much for joining us. This is Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago. We take a break and come back with more.